Welcome to the Chola show. Today we are going to discuss about art of artificial intelligence with Dr. AK, who is a PhD in emerging technologies. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here. I'm Aravind Kumaresan. People know me well, call me AK. Basically, I've got like 2 decades of experience in delivering and building enterprise-wide software, mostly for the financial firms. So I work for some of the top FTSE 100 companies in the UK. After that, I've got a lot of passion into the emerging technologies. So that's what my PhD is all about. So I started, exploring the artificial intelligence because that's the boom right now. So from there, my interest is to explore what AI can do for the humanity and how it can penetrate and add value to the various domains. So that is what my research is all about. And thanks for having me again.
Uh, Sir, I want to ask you about Gen A because we started with Gen A and kind of we went other places. But coming back to Gen A, now what are all the things possible with Gen A? Basically, from my knowledge, what I can understand is in movie industry, in creator community, they are talking about more into writing the script from the prompt and then creating images and then videos, songs, all those things putting together. Are we going towards a path like where we are going to create movies out of artificial intelligence tools itself?
Um, I think it's already happening. So these tools are Gen AI tools are already being used to create the creatives, especially in the movie industry. So we have seen few movies have come out with fake faces and so on, deep fake faces. So I think the technology is still in a very early stages, but we're already seeing that in the people are using in the movies. And I know when you see that, there is limitations very evidently. But I think I've seen um, various advanced deepfakes. They were amazing. I think definitely there's a lot of things is going to happen in the movie industry. I think a lot of people in the movie industry also adapting to that. So things like you can bring back your popular actors and actors back into the cinemas. Obviously, that has got different questions to ask, like
It's
eh,
moral, ethical, all those things.
for sure, right? Like, but it is a great thing for us. For example, I'm a very big fan of Rajinikanth movies. So, and the next generations as well. For the the next generations, if they want to continue to see Rajinikanth movies, at certain point it might not be possible for them. But all of a sudden, these technologies will make it possible, and also it could monetize for them. It could be a lifetime monetization for these actors and actresses for the family, right? So because they created this uh, personal branding in the cinema industry, and now the next one is like, how can I um, still monetize that uh, even after the lifetime for the family members, right? So that is definitely possible. So I think a lot of movies will start in the future. I'm talking about will start to use a lot of this popular actor and actress back into the movies. You will start to see in the screen. Also, I think one of the thing that could happen is the the uh, the cost efficiency in making a movie, right? I think artificial intelligence is also all about managing, bringing down your cost, managing things efficiently, and so on. So I think a lot of movies, I think they have challenge in terms of a lot of spending that goes into outdoor shooting. I believe because it's a lot of logistics involved, and they have to shuttle tons and tons of people to the location. They have to do all those things, and also they have to put a lot of expensive, foundational sets for the movies, which I think they don't use it for other purposes. So there's a lot of waste involved there. So I think AI will play a major role in helping them to create these outdoor locations totally to a different level. So absolutely to a different level, and I've seen a glimpse of it in one of the um, car manufacturer to take their photo shoot. So imagine, um, um, uh, Mercedes Benz. They're releasing a new car, and they want to show that this car is, the good in all terrains and stuff like that. They can create these locations artificially,
Right.
and they can put the cars in these locations, and they can actually create a movie out of it in a much better way, much better experience as well.
Okay.
So those are all the possibilities. I think it's going to come into this area, and it's going to be fascinating as well.
Okay. How would you rate the de-aging part in Goat? So people have mixed emotions, mixed reviews about that. But that's the starting point of artificial intelligence in Tamil movies, right? So how would you rate that?
I think so. There are two things to that. One is the way how audience connect emotionally to certain characters on the screen. So I think when they see that their favorite character is coming back on screen, forget about the quality and accuracy and so on. All this logical thinking is out of the way. So I think from that perspective, I think definitely for the audiences, it's a spectacle to watch. Now coming back into the technical accuracy representation of that scene, obviously, Mr. Vijay Kansar coming back to the screen. I think that says the limitation of the technology that we have as of today, uh, but it's only going to get better from here,
Right.
for sure.
Okay. So now we talked about so many things about Gen AI, and one thing which came to my mind is how the actors, actress, all those people are going to secure their assets, basically license their assets for future filmmaking, that is AI-based filmmaking. So how they are going to protect themselves, or the licensing framework, all those things. If you know something about that, it will be good to hear.
Um, have you played the game Fortnite?
No.
Okay. I think it's very interesting because I play this game every day with my daughter. I have a 8-year-old daughter,
Right.
so I play this game with her every day, and at least once or twice, and I play with their friends as well. I think the reason I started to do that is to understand their world, because the way they are recently, she's asking me in terms of what she wants and so on is slightly very different. So I wanted to understand the world. So I started playing with them. So over there, I started seeing a lot of these celebrities are now bringing in their avatar and characters into this platform. So I see the last season, I saw Snoop Dogg coming in, Eminem coming in. These people are buying their avatars, playing with their avatars, interacting with that, and they are, getting to know their music, music albums and so on. I think it's a fantastic opportunity if the celebrities started to think that in a very different way. Hey, oh, this is a new technology. And of course, I have to protect my assets. There will be deep fakes coming in and so on. So I think to tackle that problem, we need a strong regulation. So regulations will definitely come into place. I think EU Act is talking about that. Other acts also is going to come very sure. But leaving the deep fakes aside, it's a fantastic opportunity for celebrities to monetize these assets, because these are digital assets,
Right.
and there are various permutation and combinations right now you have, and I think they can do this. And of course, when they created these assets, they can also license these assets. I think they might not even have to go to a, say if Dhoni is there, you see Dhoni in all different ads, and Tendulkar as well in certain when they're very popular. Even now, Dhoni is still very popular. But he might be shuttling around for all these ads everywhere. Now he's created a digital footprint of himself. Then all he has to do is give the license to use the footprint, and people can start doing the costumes, whatever they want, and they can get the shooting completed even without Dhoni. And probably what they have to do is obviously have to involve his team to get the approval of the outcome to see, hey, this is what we have done without you. Do you want to double check it? Do you want to give an approval and so on? And then it's just effortlessly you can just give an approval and that will be all sorted. So that's an amazing opportunity for the celebrities to do.
Right.
So I think this kind of things will definitely happen in the future,
Yes.
and I think it's a great opportunity for them to have a different vertical for monetizing their assets.
Since these models are trained on existing data, right? Will there be a copyright problem? Say, for example, if we create a song or a simple music, which has the shade of like a previous song or something like, because the data is trained from this model is trained from those data sets, right? So, will there be any copyright issues in the future based on these kind of Gen AI based music or songs?
I think uh, these copyright issues are already happening today. There's a lot of people are suing already OpenAI for the data they have used and so on. So I think that's very normal, obviously. But I think what will happen down the lane, I believe, I might be wrong. Probably there might be some licensing thing coming into the picture there. So we might be paying some royalty for this for the training data. The training data could become very valuable as well. Um, and then obviously then you can legitimately use the data to train your models. And but again, the other thing is when you're talking about deep learning AI models, um, it becomes very complex to understand how it is thinking.
Right.
So even if I go and say create a song and a music for a movie, right, or a BGM for a movie, it becomes so complex. Um, in the future, of it could become so complex that you might not understand from where it is creating the tune from.
Right.
So how do you
Pinpoint.
how do you pinpoint that? That's
Right.
the one thing. Now the other thing is, of course, it's all based on assumption that, hey, all these data sets are used. So until unless you have evidence to prove that, it is very challenging as well. So I think there will be a lot of things will happen, because when people are uh, making fortunes from this thing, then obviously the owners of the assets will start, you know
Right.
going in terms of legal side and so on. So I think it will happen, but I think the better way is to bring some way to license this thing. And say if I'm a musician, then there should be some platform for me to monetize this and give my um, you know uh, you know the musicals to the other platform for training the AI model. So I have to create that. I don't know if anything is available right now, but that will be a good one to do.
Yeah. So the reverse part is already happening, right? For example, video sharing platforms, social media platforms, they use artificial intelligence to track down the copyright issues. Like they do the copyright strike directly using the artificial intelligence tools. Because if somebody uploads a video, immediately it analyzes the content and then finds out whether there is a copyright issue. So that kind of artificial intelligence is already there in the market. But I was asking about the other part where we ourselves get into a problem because we generated the content from artificial intelligence tools. because we don't know, right, where we are actually
Correct.
doing the copy or something like that, because we are not intentionally doing it, but then it can happen through the trained data set models. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think I got your point. I think absolutely. So this is the tool that's been given to me,
Yeah.
but I have no idea what is the training data that is going in and so on. So if you're using that, and then I think probably the liability lies on you
Right.
in terms of where you're going to use this and so on. So you got to be slightly careful from that front. But you're right. It's very difficult and challenging to generate something and then use that in a context and without getting into trouble for sure. Yeah.
So people talk about prompt engineering. In Gen AI, the primary input source is, as of now, the prompt, and then we can attach associated or reference images or reference videos, all those things. So what is this prompt engineering, and how we can master that?
Okay. So I think prompt engineering is of course a new space. You know. That's been created after the popularity of Gen AI.
Yeah. To start with, I think we can explain like what is a prompt for the audience.
Sure, sure,
Yeah.
sure. So I think for the audience to understand, prompt is the way you interact with this AI tools, or we call it as a agents. So prompt is literally like you're asking what you want.
Mm.
So there is a so imagine there is a genie,
Mm.
right? So that's a magic genie. Now, the quality of what the outcome the genie is going to give you depends upon what you're asking the genie,
Right.
right?
Right.
So if I ask the genie, hey, you know, can you please make it a rainy day today?
Right.
It's just gonna make it a rainy day. That's all. But the flip side is you're going to get wet,
Right.
right?
Mm.
So if I ask the genie, hey, make it a rainy day, also don't make me wet. Also, because it's rainy day, I want to eat something that is very settle for this weather, and I also want to listen to the music very in line with the weather and so on. So I hope you understand the chaining of
Yes.
commands that you're
Yes.
doing
Right.
to actually clearly explain
Mm.
what you want, what
Right.
kind of outcome you want,
Mm.
is a heart in itself.
Right.
So the same, so if you do that properly, then the outcome will come very differently, as
Mm.
I explained to you now.
Right.
So it's the same way the AI agents or LLM models, um, they do not understand what you want.
Mm.
You need to ask.
Right.
So the prompt engineering has got, a different strategies. It's got a different strategy of how you can interact with the agents or AI models. And there is a big tutorials available in Coursera and other platforms as well, learning platform as well. So I would encourage people to just go and search for some courses which will take around you know 1 hour, 2 hour, even on YouTube. Search for prompt engineering, and then that's going to explain them different strategies that you can talk. So I think I've advised a lot of friends because I've done few tutorials on prompt engineering on few conferences. I think the prompt engineering tutorial went for 3 hours, so that means there's a lot to learn.
Mm.
So if you know how to ask to the agents, then you get better in asking.
Right.
Then the more you get better in asking, then you get the better outcomes from
Yeah.
the engines.
Okay.
So I think prompt engineering is all about that, and it's got different configuration options as well. For example, if you're asking something and the answer is some not that relevant,
Mm.
or if you want to make it more relevant with data sets and things like that, you can actually you have a lot of different configuration like top key temperature, and that's more technical, but you can do that and you can get a very different desired outcome as well. So that's all about prompt engineering. I think for the lot of these tools, as I said, whatever the popular video generation tools that you're using, um, they are embedding the intelligence capability into their platform, right? So, for example, um, I use Veed.io um, to generate video explainer.
Right.
So, say you have a business, you have a website. Video explainer is something that you can create. It will make people to a lot of, instead of them reading a lot of content on your website, video explainer will will
Yes.
make it very easy for them to understand what you're doing and so on. So previously, to generate this video explainer, uh, you will hire some person, you have to talk to them, give the content, do the editing, and so on. Now I think a lot of these tools available, like Video, there's quite a lot of tools available, like Runway, for example, and so on. If you use the right prompt engineering
Right.
and right tools, and then the combination of diffusion models for images, so you can integrate with these tools, you can actually create a very good video images for different purposes. So but coming back to, can you produce
The entire content.
entire
Yes.
content? It's possible, but again it depends upon the quality of your prompts.
Right.
For sure, you get your output, but again, as I said, the technology is still evolving. I think we have seen few clips released by popular um, studios creating entire movie clips using tools. So it is possible. I believe it's Sonos or something. I don't remember exactly, but it's definitely possible.
Is there a single tool, or we have to use a combination of multiple tools to produce the content?
I think I think I think currently people are using combination of tools to produce the best quality output. But I think as we go along, the capability of these tools are going to get matured, and probably you might have, of course, competitive tools will be always there, right? So even in editing or photo editing, you still have Photoshop and other players there in the market as well. Figma was there, and other players are there in the market. So like that, you will have a competitive products as well. But I think you will be able to do everything under one roof and one tool.
Will that be cost effective compared to the generic production what we are doing currently for the content?
Absolutely, absolutely. I absolutely think so. See, I think what we need to understand is right now, um, it is still not matured. So the quality perspective, although from the financial perspective, slightly on the medium level, but they're not getting the quality. So that is why they have to go for the, uh, you know, the real world content and so on. So as these products get mature and go in the right direction, that's why a lot of investments are going in. It's going to be very cost effective, and when it becomes very cost effective, obviously the industry will go in that direction to adapt that.
Okay.
So I think it's purely depends upon the quality.
Okay. So we sitting at Chennai, we can make Hollywood style movies here itself, right? In the future.
Yeah. Of course, of course. I think if you see in the last few years, Indian cinemas, I think they are producing amazing visual uh, movies. Amazing, amazing. Totally a Hollywood standard, right? So if you think about, I don't know, like 20 years back, there is always a catch up. But today, I think you can access the talent in Hollywood and the technology they're using, and I think even the industry people in are traveling different places and they are learning about new technology. For example, I believe Kamal Hassan is also learning about the AI space
Right.
in the cinemas. So I think it's all this uh, beautiful minds are already starting to look into the other areas because they know this is coming. So
Right.
they want to understand what is in it so they can do it better. So I think it's already happening, and I think you're right. If you want to uh, take any Hollywood movies or anyone, I think as I said, we are leaving the age of kings and queens. So everybody is a king and queen right now. So
Right.
you have accessibility to all the tools at your fingertips. So if you use the right techniques to do that, it's totally possible.
So, from the perspective of the students, freshers, and people who want to switch careers from their current jobs to AI, I think that the field of AI is very vast. So, where do they start and how do they start? Where they can reach? If you can share some glimpse about that, right? It will really help those kind of people.
Um, sure. I think as you said, it's a vast area in itself. The beautiful thing is everybody's contribution is required. So if you think about for the new starters or changing the career and so on, probably if they are software engineers, they can use the AI tools to get better in coding more defensively, and so they can make use of it. They can become a better software engineer, right? So it's like an assistant they're going to use. So start using it as an assistant. And if you're a new fresher, you want to learn about the AI, I would say start with, if you don't know anything about programs, start with Python. It's an easy way to start. And as I said, some frameworks are available, TensorFlow and PyTorch and so on.
Right.
And start getting into the Kaggle or Hugging Face platform and start to see what other people are doing. And then you can learn from that. That is an easy way of learning. And I think you need to practice anything that you do. You need to practice. You need to do your own exercises and so on. So I would say anyone to change into new area, it's going to take time. But I would also say start interacting with this tool so you'll understand the benefits of this tool. That will help you to go in the right direction. You should set aside at least 1 hour a day. That's not a big one, but you need to set aside religiously 1 hour a day and start learning these things. And then I think probably you can transform yourself into the space. So again, the advantage, you can be a data engineer. If you're really good in data and stuff, then you can be a data engineer and going into data scientist. Or if you're a software engineer, as I said, you can be a much better software engineer because you'll start writing a defensive codes, quality codes, and so on. And then you can transfer yourself into creating a models as well, AI models.
Right.
And if you're a software engineer, then even the integration space is still needed. Although you have model, you have to still plug the model into the current products. So you can be an integration engineer to make the current product more intelligent as well. So that space is also there. So there is plenty of opportunities for them if you see from starters or switching the career.
So, what kind of job opportunities available in the market? Are they really the boom which is happening with, or the buzz which is happening with AI? Is it real or it's just a kind of something which happened in 2000 with the e-com, all those things?
No, I see there is a lot of plenty of jobs in the market, and I see the companies are struggling to hire the right resources, because I think with the hype, also what happens is everybody wants to get into
Catch the
this
train.
correct, catch the train, but they are not having the right techniques, and they're not learning it properly, and they are not in the right track. So they all want to do something, but they don't know where to start, what the industry wants, and so on. So they're not understanding the ecosystem, how it works. And when you go to the job market with that, obviously you will be scrutinized and you will be eliminated, and that is what is happening with a lot of people. So I would say, even if you start with a small, imagine this is for a software engineer, you want to go into a AI modeling engineer, for example. Start checking these platforms I mentioned, Hugging Face or Kaggle or other platforms. Get the data set, understand the insights in the data set, and then understand your problem that you're trying to solve. And then you use the existing models and use your existing skills to connect the dots, and then produce output, and then you see the output, and then that will go very well on your CV, and then you're employable, right? I think along with that, obviously the soft skills are also very important. So I think that is one of the challenge in India generally. So if you improve your soft skills along with that, then I think you'll be in a very good sweet spot. But I think there is plenty of jobs, and there is a lot of New jobs are also being created, like as you said, prompt engineering. That's a
Right.
new role
Mm.
in the market, and obviously you need to study how to interact with the machines, because you need there is because prompt engineers are also useful for evaluating the models.
Right. Yeah.
So that means you're obviously having a opportunity to do well. That's a new space. And then there is another space called DevDocs.
Mm.
It's all new for me too.
Right.
DevDocs is for, as all these things are getting complicated, you also need good documentations to go along with that. So there's a lot of document writing and things like that happening in that space. So there's a lot of new opportunities for the
Right.
new starters and the people who want to transition into the space, for sure.
Yeah, from the perspective of industries, say take an example of manufacturing. So previously we do a lot of analytics, we provide dashboards, all those things. So the general question would be like, what next? You showed me the graph, nice, and you say that it is saving time. Okay, I have enough time. Then what else? How we can earn more money? That is what they used to ask. Saving time is okay, but that's not my first priority. I want to earn more money. So how artificial intelligence is going to help these kind of industries to earn more money?
Okay. So I think um, talking specifically about manufacturing industry, right? Um, I think there's a lot of automation is going to happen in the space, not just for um, saving time, uh, saving cost, plus also for increasing your production, right? So I think, um, and also increasing your production and also detecting the failures upfront, because
Right.
failures in your product line is very expensive. So I think these areas will be, playing a vital role. For example, I think I read in the biography of Elon Musk, um, where there've been a lot of mentioning about he creates first thing he will do when it because he's an amazing engineer himself. So the first focus he will do is build a machine that can build the things that he wants. That's how the thought process
Mm.
for him.
Right.
So I think coming back with the same thought process, previously when we do something in the manufacturing industry, we think about um, the the resources that is required to do and all the things. But I think the thought process will start to build automation
Mm.
from the beginning
Right.
of any new things they want to launch. So that means obviously your productivity is going to increase and you have a efficiency in producing that. And I think that is going to make a major impact.
Okay.
I think that is already happening in the
Happening, yes.
automobile
Yeah.
industries, but yeah,
That's money saved is money earned.
that of course, that is well said, to be honest. So I think money saved is money earned as well. Also, they will have a lot of control
Right.
over the production line, and also, as I said, it's gonna the missions will not be tired, right?
Right.
So the productivity is going to be way higher as well.
Uh, So one case study which I can remember is like a paper making machines and continuous process like 8, 10 processes. If the failure is going to happen in the eighth step, if you can deduct that in the second step itself, it's like the time saved, money saved, all those things.
Correct.
So that has to be with lots of data, right? So all the previous data needs to be analyzed and it has to be trained with the model. So we talked about model a lot. It's not entertainment model, right? It is actually a brain behind the systems itself. So the conventional system has like input, then processing, and then the output. In this processing, we are taking the model as the single responsibility. So what is this model? How it is different from our human brain?
Okay. I think as you said, the conventional model is all about you create a logic, and then if the input matches the logic, it gives a desired output.
Right.
If not, it gives a another output, right? But with the AI models, obviously, one of the thing, neural networks, for example, AI is all about training the machines.
Mm.
So that we call as machine learning. There are different techniques for machine learning. So one of the technique, a popular one is neural networks. And obviously, the other bigger version of that is deep learning. So neural networks is very similar it mimics the way how the human brain works, at least from the theoretical perspective. So it's got the different nodes, kind of neurons connecting everything, and then every layer makes a certain decisions and so on. So I think it is totally works very similar to the human brain,
Right.
but it can take more information and it can create more patterns.
Right.
So our brain also works very similarly, but it can the capacity is to a certain level.
Right.
But this intelligence AI models can have create more patterns, so it can understand more defects in the anomalies in the product production line, and also again depends upon the more data sets, the training data that it gets,
Right.
and also it reuses the training the real world failures back into the training data set.
Right.
It reuses for the training, and then obviously when you start this, initially it might be having 90-95% accuracy, and then there will be edge cases obviously.
Right.
And then slowly as it goes along, it gets other real data because it might do mistake. But what important to do is, oh, that's a mistake,
Right.
replay that in terms of feedback to the machine learns from that. So it will never do the same mistake, but the human might do the same mistake again.
Right.
But the machines, the chances are very less.
Right.
So from that perspective, I think if you compare that, it can start learning more, and then obviously it can get into that 100% mark.
Okay. Is there a bias in this artificial intelligence system? Because if the training data is fed in a certain way, there could be a bias, right, in the final output.
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. As I said, like the quality of the model is depends upon the training data set.
Right.
So to give you an example, say we are developing a recruitment portal, right? Helping us to shortlist the candidates and so on, because that's a laborious work,
Right.
right? Because you get a lot of applications for the same job. Now, if the training data set is including some kind of preferences in the demographics and so on, obviously it's going to eliminate certain candidates just purely based on the demographics and other information.
Right.
That's totally wrong. That's bias.
Right.
So yes, you are right. I think that's why I think if you need to have a data engineer at data scientist at to make sure how we can reduce the bias in your data set,
Right.
so that you can build a much better model.
Right. So thank you very much for your time. Actually, it was a wonderful discussion, and a lot of things I learned from you, and hope the audience also learned a lot of things from you. Thank you for your time, basically, because you have been at work for a lot of time, I think, and we will catch up in the next session, next episodes, whenever the time permits. Because since it's a vast area, it is very difficult to discuss that in a very short period of time. But then it was a wonderful session. I think students, industry, and media, all those things we discussed may be useful for a lot of people. And AI is not a myth, so it's going to be a buzzword for continuous growth. And whoever misses the train, they will be deeply feeling sorry for that. But definitely there is a buzz in the market, and people are also talking about it. And when the real world case studies are being solved, that's when it is going to become really big, I think. And thank you very much once again. So we'll wrap up this first episode. We'll catch up in the next episode. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I think it's an absolutely pressure. I think it's never too late, again, for your audience. The technology is still catching up, so it's never too late. But I will definitely reiterate that everyone to take a serious attention of that, start using the tool, start learning it, and so on, because it's going to be like a fundamental part of your life, like how you see TV in your house and electricity. It's going to be internet. It's going to be very. It's way more than the internet revolution. So please keep yourself updated, and it's a pleasure talking to you, and thanks for having me. Thanks a lot for having me.
Thank you. Bye.